This Crev's corner, the ball is in your court. Swish.
Welcome back, guys, to Crev's Corner. This is the 8th episode of my new podcast, Crev's Corner. I am your host, Braden Krevling, and today I have a very special guest, one of my best friends with me, Chloe Mack. And our topic for today is going to be non-sports related, which I'm trying to get into. I'm not trying to make this an NBA Central podcast. I'm trying to get a podcast that my viewers can understand me, and we can go on from there and talk about just everyday lives of being 20 years old, or this podcast is from 15, 16-year-olds all the way up to adults who listen. And today's topic, credits to Kylie Brown for giving me this idea, is going to be lessons that 2020 taught us or things that we took out of 2020. 2020 got hit with COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost relationships. A lot of people lost people close to them due to illness and sickness and other stuff. And I think that it was just a really down year. And we just want to bring some light into that situation and show people that 2020 isn't as bad as what the media portrays for be. Isn't that right, Chloe?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start off with your list. What is your, so we're going to do 5 things that me and Chloe both took out of 2020 to go into 2021 and kind of making us better people. So what is your 5th thing on your list?
I actually didn't put mine in any specific order, but the first one that I put down was to spend more time with my family. In a way, I kind of was able to spend a little bit more time because of, everything going on. My family kind of made it a priority to just still kind of not lose that bond. Like, don't just stay home. And I didn't really have to go through any type of quarantine because, I was an essential worker, so I didn't get, employed or anything like that. So I never really got a whole 2020 quarantine type thing. So it's not really that different than my regular life, but I don't know, it just kind of made me realize that I need to spend more time with my family because that could happen to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think family is a big thing, and my family definitely grew closer. I ended up going on unemployment, and I stayed home a lot during that March, April. And when my family did together, I feel like we went through a lot of close bondness. It was just more like dinners together. We didn't go out and socialize with friends like I usually do. So I feel like my family got a lot closer in that sense. My 5th, I did get in order. My 5th thing is credits to Jarrett Miller. I got introduced into Joe Rogan and the You Never Know podcast and podcasts like that. And I think that was very important to me because it made me more of an insightful person. I wasn't a person who I was known for listening to advice from people that didn't know my situation. And really, Joe Rogan experience has helped me deal with a lot about situations mentally, and kind of take notes from there and take notes from people who don't know my personal situation, but I can apply to in my life. All right, so for your 4th on the list, I'll do my 4th. Or no, you do your 4th. What is your 4th thing?
Kind of to bounce off what I said, I started to become more grateful for my job because, being young, you just hate to work. You just want to spend time with your friends, and seeing how people were affected, even people that were really close to me with, laid off and stuff like that, and having to be unemployed, it's just made me a lot more grateful that I was able to just still work and still make money and stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. I see where you're coming from there. I wasn't one of the people that lived paycheck to paycheck. I still live with my parents, as you know. But seeing people going through that struggle financially nationwide with really getting their job almost stripped from them in a week and no further notice, no jobs are hiring, is really crazy. I was gonna say my dad got laid off too with me. And I mean, seeing my parent, that's crazy that I rely on him, food on the table, lights on in the house, and to see other families go through that is a really, really a hardship that people, it can take a mental toll on you as much as the financial toll. Something in 2020, in the fall, I ended up going to Ashland University, and this is kind of I found my career path. Now, for some people who don't know me, I went to Hocking College straight out of high school, and I really went there as a confused individual and didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. When I went to Ashton University, I went to be a teacher, and then 3 days after that, I switched my whole major, switched my whole class schedule, and I found people who accepted me and really made me almost a dream chaser, and made me be like, oh, my dreams aren't as not realistic as they pretend to be. And professors that really care about me, I meet new people, and kind of like those all three go together, as Ashton University, meeting new people, finding a career path. Those three really go together. And I'm really thankful to find a university and a school that almost feel like they care about me on a personal level, because not every professor is like that.
Yeah,
So,
I think that
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's like really important that you got yourself out of that situation because like kind of about who you surround yourself with, and like I think society kind of makes it so just like if I can't do it, like I don't think you're gonna be able to do it, and they just put it in your brain that like this certain thing you're not gonna be successful in because not a lot of people are. So I think it's really good that you just are doing it because it's something you want to do, not because anything else.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people. I feed off a lot of other people's energy. Like if my friends are supportive about something, or if my parents are supportive about something, I become more uplifted and more motivated to do it. And I'm blessed with a lot of professors, John Scrotta, Dave McCoy, Derek Wood, all my professors. They really uplift me and think high of me and push me to be the best, blah blah blah, whatever I strive to be. And they care about you on a personal level. They ask how you're doing throughout the day, not even related to school. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Almost goes back to the employer employee talk of, if your employer cares about you, it's gonna make your workday way better. And I feel like that is something that is very overlooked at in a work industry place. So next on the list, I have number, or what do you have for number 3?
Number three, I put down that that I learned to just like take more time for myself. Like I said before, like I didn't really have to go through any type of quarantine, but I did like have more time on my hands, I guess. And for like a few months there, I kind of just like distanced myself from like a lot of my friends, not for like any reason other than like I just wanted to find out like who I am or who I wanted to be, and like what I want out of life and what I want to do, like where I want to go, what I want to see. And I didn't want just like opinions of others, even if it was my friends. And I do care about their opinions. I just wanted it to just kind of be a me thing. And I'd never really done that before because, like you say, you feed off people. I think I also feed off people for a lot of different things. So doing that, it just made me realize that I need to just take more time for myself and do more things on my own and just learn to like be okay with like being alone.
Yeah, that's something that, referring back to my number 5, the Joe Rogan podcast. Um, I'm very friendly, and I live off of my friends, and I like socializing, and I'm not good with alone time. But sometimes sitting at night just by yourself and with your thoughts and with your ideas is very self overwhelming, but it also helps yourself. And it really is like, all right, we need to get this, and this done. I'm a big dream chaser, like I said, so I'll sit in bed and just think about what I want to accomplish in life or what I want to get done. And you kind of mentioned, I remember when you went through that stage of being alone and you kind of were distant from a lot of people. And that I've never done that on a personal level of just leaving. Like just, I wish I could. I wish that's something that I've talked about with a friend, is I wish I could just delete all social media and try to like live life just without. I blame myself. I don't blame anyone else. I blame myself for being so connected to my phone and social media. But to just give yourself that break, I feel like would be so emotionally good for you in growing. Um, for my number 3, something I got into this year and kind of learned stuff about me, and I'm open about it, and I talk to people about this. I discovered psychedelics and the outcomes of that, and the goods and the bads of that. And it really, I've opened up about my parents about doing them, and I have no shame in doing them. People discourage it. People don't care about it. I've had some of my friends. I've got them on the train, and I'm open about it. I will talk to anyone about it. I don't care. It's just something that has helped me gain past my insecurities. It's helped me grow as a person through it. And when you don't know how to figure out the answers to some questions, just some night it solves a couple problems here and there. I would say some people, and I don't look at you, I don't look at people as bad if they're like, oh, I'd never do that. Like, to each their own, you know what I mean? But there has been some things that I've figured out that I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Do that, and then it just opens up a new perspective of my life.
Mhm.
So what is your second thing?
I put, I don't know if I worded it right, but I said that I kind of found out who my friends are, but I feel like that kind of sounds negative in a way that I like cut off a whole bunch of people, but I just like got closer with a lot of my more of my guy friends that I just kind of disconnected with, and like old friends from like middle school and stuff like that just kind of reconnected. And like, I mean, I guess I did kind of cut off like maybe one or two people, but it wasn't for anything like negative. And I don't know, my mom always just told me like you are who you hang around with. And like find yourself and kind of myself, I just kind of wanted to know who I wanted around me. And I don't know, it really just shows like the people that notice when you're gone and like wonder why and still like text you and say, hey, I know you're doing your thing, but like I just want to make sure you're all right. And it's just, I don't know, I just found out the people that I know will really care about me for a long time. So that was really
No.
important to me.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings that my dad says, and it's worded differently throughout generations, but my dad, show me your five closest, or show me your closest friends and I'll show you your future. You know, you are who you hang around with, essentially, in a way. And that's the one thing is like, between me and you and a couple other friends, I know that I could go ghost for a month and like they're still rocking with me. You know what I mean? We got a couple friends like that we grew up with that I know I can do my own thing for a month or two. And I know that if I come back to my life that I have right now, that I got the people by my side. My number two is actually kind of similar to that. It was getting closer with friends and meeting new great people. I was just thinking about it a couple hours or an hour before we did this podcast, and I've met a bunch of new people this year. I'm just gonna list them off: Jamie Allen, Mariah Polachek, Marcus Rodriguez, Kylie Brown, Mariah Rose, Gage Adams, Allison Silcox, Zarian Stevens, Adriana Podcasto, rest in peace, Alexa Robinson, Kayla Riggs, Philip Howman, Jake Estes, Nico Scorrales, and Caden Flores. I mean, those are some good people that I met just in 2020 alone that I didn't know even existed. And really, that's almost like I've met all those people like the back half of 2020, which is really good because when I was in 2020 and like, I don't know, around the summertime, I was going through a lot of different sleep schedules because I worked third shift, first shift, and then I worked a day shift. And I had really bad anxiety. I had really somewhat mental issues, just problems where I felt lonely at times and I didn't feel in a group, you know what I mean? And I know that sounds crazy because I'm always welcomed by people, but um, me being an outgoing individual, I really felt shelled in a way around like June, July of 2020. And it really, I met a special person. And I mean, just after a couple weeks of hanging out with them, I got a lot of stuff off my chest. I got to be my regular self. I got back into the swing of being really genuinely happy with life. And I'm excited that that happened. I'm excited that I got out of that funk because I don't think that's how I always was. It was just a jam that I had for a little bit, for a couple months. I had a little jam, and I'm back into. I love life. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. I've been saying that for the past couple months now, and I'm really glad because early in the summer of 2020, that's not how it was, and it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't a relationship issue. It was just an issue with how I thought the perspective of me was to everyone else. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
say.
go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I was gonna say I was just gonna counter off what you said.
Oh, I was gonna say like sometimes I think that's like why we work as such good friends is because like you're more outgoing than me, and I'm also like a little outgoing, but like I'm more shy about it. And I think that's why we kind of like work as friends because like I don't know, I have met like a lot of new people through you, which is really fun. Or like people just like, know us somehow like from each other, which is really weird. But yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like I've met, and even though that's a list of like people who I've met, like some of them I've got really close to. Like here, I'll give you, I got really close to Caden Flores. I mean, that's someone who I didn't know outside of that's blah blah blah's boyfriend. I didn't know him at all, and now me and he's probably one of the closest friends to me. Kylie Brown's another girl who I met and just click. Mariah Love is one person who I met and I couldn't imagine. You know what I mean? You meet people and you couldn't imagine like your life before them. You're like, holy crap, like where were you
Mhm.
how long ago? But you're glad that they came in your life because like one of those people on that list came in my life at a time where I almost needed that running mate. I needed that person that I could lean on and be like, could get that laugh with, could easily knock a conversation in with. And I feel I'm glad that I met some people like that in my life because it all happened timely, like in a real good time. So, what's your last thing leaving on your list?
My last one I put to live in the moment a little bit more because I think I'm definitely someone that worries a lot about the future and how I'm gonna like attain certain things. And yeah, I think I just really need to focus on like what's going on right now and not worry about so much that could go wrong that like will maybe never even happen. Like, yeah, I just said live in the moment.
No, that's how I am. I'm trying to get better about that. I used to be a real bit, and this is kind of where my anxiety plays out. Is I used to have bad anxiety. I actually went to a therapist in 2020 for the second time. I would say I went 2019 for the first time, but I went to a therapist. It just didn't work out. It wasn't my thing. But I went there because I had bad anxiety, and it wasn't like I would get anxiety attacks. I would worry about stuff that wouldn't happen yet. Like I would worry about the future, and you can't control. Like you can only control yourself and what you do with stuff. Like you can't control the uncontrollable. And I feel like I'm doing such a good job of just living in the moment, not worrying about what's gonna happen, not worrying about stuff that you can't control, and you don't have anything to handle on. You just gotta control how you are going to react in situations like that. My number one's kind of like that in a sense. It is to get out of my comfort zone, and then I put a dash, and then I put stop caring about what people think about me. A big part of not starting this so soon is I was scared what people think about me. I'd scared, but now like I don't know. I got real scared about and doing the journalism, doing the articles, the sports articles, and then going to this podcast. I know I didn't start this podcast till 2021, but like starting a lot of the ideas about this stuff, I was real scared what people were gonna think about me. And then like I almost like worried about everyone, what everyone said about me. I'm no man with a clean history. A lot of people don't have clean histories, and everyone's he say she say talk. And I'll be the first to tell you if you want a question about me, come to me. But it just got to a point where I stopped caring about what people think about me. I've made my mistakes in life. I've paid for those mistakes. I've made a reputation for myself. But if you want to know the true me, come to me. And I kind of got out of my comfort zone by being a person who accepts accepts the stuff that's not going to happen. I can't be all uptight about stuff that I have no control over. And I just stopped caring what someone's comment was about me. And I kind of brushed off. I'm like, you're one, like I did sports broadcasting for a little bit, and some guy told me that I wasn't good for it, and I told him my mom asked me how I felt about it because I know 2 years ago, if someone said that about me, I would have stopped. I would have found a new career. It could have been someone meaningless. I would have found a new career because I would have been like, oh, that's what one person thinks. But now I'm like, I told my mom asked me what I thought about it. And I said, that's one person out of 7 billion on this world. I was like, 600 or 6.9 billion people could think I'm good at it. I can't let what one person's opinion. Uh, One of my favorite quotes from Les Brown: someone's opinion someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that is one of my quotes that I truly believe in, and I will give to anyone who is scared about doing something that they aren't 100% bought into, that they don't think they're good at. I had bad confidence issues, and I kind of really started this, and the first couple times I was nervous. I mean, I've shown great strides from this one to episode 1, and I hope I make better strides, and I hope that I become better at this. But it's just confidence issues. The people who tell me, "Oh, you're doing a good job. I like the videos," like that means more to me than a lot other people think.
Yeah, I think I've like also had confidence issues in like a different way than you, but you know, you kind of just have to come to terms with the fact that like it's human nature to judge, and people are going to judge you no matter what. And it's as simple as what you said, like you just don't have to care what people say about you. And like they can judge you all they want and have a certain perception of you that they want, but unless they like, you just have to think of it like, unless this person knows me, like they are wrong. Like if they don't know me personally, then you can't judge me based off of things that you don't actually know about me, that you heard about me. I think more people need to just stop and like think about, like, that's really not fair to judge someone for that, because you know you don't know them, especially on like the internet. You doing this all like online and stuff, like people on the internet are like brutal, and it sucks because they don't know you and you'll probably never meet like half of them, but they'll still like say stupid things about you. But like you said, it's as simple as just literally not caring what people say about you, which is like easy to say, but really, really hard to do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, for sure. I 100% agree with you. A lot of people got Twitter fingers and don't say it in front of you because they're scared of the outcome, and they're scared of, oh, I'm not gonna say it to you. I feel like a lot of negativity. That's another thing that I didn't put on this list, but really in 2020, the back half of 2020 was probably one of the better years of my life. When we talk about like mental health and how happy I got and what I came from in like that June, May, June up to, it's like really good. I really, I just became more of a happier person. I loved going out on the weekends. I loved the feeling of being loved by my friends and being appreciated and laughs, like, but I feel like a lot of this world has negativity, and I don't know why. That's something that I know what I was gonna say. I'm starting to become more of a positive person. I try not to insult as much. Like I'll make a joke every now and again, and I'll catch myself. I'll be like, "Why'd you? That was so unnecessary." Like even like seeing a fat girl on the road and be like, "Oh, look at that fat girl!" Like, why is that necessary? Like that is literally just spreading hate, and I catch myself doing it, and then like 10 minutes later, I'll be like, "Why? What was? What did you personally gain from making fun of someone who could be?" And they have their own story. That's another thing that I learned is everyone has their own story. If you really think about it, you and me, we're the closest. We're as close can get. And there is some stuff about my life that you have no idea of, and there's stuff about your life that you have no idea of. But I've also told you stuff about my life that you are the only one that knows out of everyone. So it's like everyone has their own personal story. Everyone has their own personal experiences. We've been through some stuff together. We have not been through some stuff together. So it's really like everyone has their own story, and like you don't know someone's background. That's what really, like, if someone's having a bad day and let's just say they mess up your order at McDonald's and you just like let them rip, what are you doing? What personal gain is that for you? Someone's already down. If they're having a bad day, they could have their mother or father sick back at home. They could be struggling paying the bills. Their wife could be in a financial jam, and you don't know what people are going through every day. So I feel like as a world, as a community, every one of the people, we should like encourage more positive energy and like more words of encouragement, because you don't know what people are going through in their everyday life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to learn to be like more patient and like kind about things, because you know you can they can mess up your order like you said, but there's like a certain way you can say it to still get your point across.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, it's not, a lot of stuff is not what you say, it's how you say it. And like, it's just like there's a way to go about stuff. And don't get me wrong, like, I have grown as a person to be like, I'll freak out on someone, but I've grown to be like, it's not you
It's not worth
yeah, you not putting, or you putting ketchup and mustard on my burger when I asked not to, that that's not worth it. You know what I mean? That's just not worth living in your mental head. That's not worth you fighting with them about. That's not worth the dollar you spend on the burger. I was gonna say, did you meet any like new people who really helped you go through 2020?
Um, Geez, put me on the spot. I probably did.
That's the
I
thing.
don't know.
Some of the people we talk, I emphasized a little bit about who impacted me, but like even meeting like just people at parties and hangouts and stuff like that that we go to, like it's really cool because you can see them at the next one and be like, hey, what's up, man? Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't the last time so cool. Like it's just like the connections that, and even like if you really think about it, like if you're mutual friends with someone, like you kind of talked about how I've introduced you to people, like it's
Mhm.
crazy how like me being a branch between, you met Mariah, so me being a branch between you and Mariah, like, and you meet her, like how many people you can meet through the people you already know, I feel like is absurd. That's how I met all those people on my list. Is I was friends with, we had a mutual friend, and that's how we met. Like I think that's crazy, is because how many mutual friends that we have, and how many people that you discover, and how many people you are going to encounter through the rest of your time, and how many people you're going to be friends with, and how many friendships might not last after a year, might not last after 5, but still you get to be in the presence of a lot of these amazing people.
Mhm.
So do you have any closing remarks or anything that you want to ask me about?
Oh man.
I'll say, how was your
Uh,
2020? How did you?
Um, I think I would describe it as just normal life didn't really change other than the fact of like not seeing people as much. But like I was still going to work, still school, other than school changing to being online. But yeah, things didn't really change. I just like slowed down a little bit and just had a lot of time to think. And I don't know, to be honest, it wasn't that bad of a year for me personally, but I don't want to speak for, everybody. Um, yeah, it was eye-opening, I would say.
No, that is kind of how mine was. Mine wasn't a terrible year despite of everything happening. We got a new president, pandemic, everything. Mine wasn't a terrible year. I think another thing that was overlooked is those couple weeks where we couldn't see our friends. How awesome was it when we got to see them after that? I feel like a lot of people took for granted just, oh, going out on Friday and Saturday nights. You get hit with this pandemic. Some people listened to it, some people didn't. I was one of the ones that was really cautionary at first, and then like I grew out of it. But some people aren't like that. That's how I was. But like seeing your friends for the first time, and then you're almost like, let's not take this for granted. Like, and um, losing a friend in this year, you almost don't take stuff for granted anymore. I mean, I try not to. That is one thing that I try not to. Is I try not to take stuff for granted at all anymore.
Mhm.
So that is it. Thank you, Chloe, for joining me for the first time. I'll definitely have to get you back on. This is episode 8 of Crev's Corner. So it looks like 2020 wasn't a terrible year. Let's see what 2021 does us. Say bye to the people, Chloe, and we will head off.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun. Can't wait to do it again.
I'll say you're welcome. Can't wait to do it again.